bullshit. Don't know what they call it other than bullshit. Blows my mind. Blows my mind. I smell bullshit. Don't know what they call it other than bullshit. Blows my mind. Blows my mind. Yeah, bullshit. Don't know what they call it.
And thank y'all for joining in on tonight's episode. We're just doing a recap of. We're just gonna wait till a couple people see, get people, couple people get in right now. Let's just put that on. Jamaica, we can't really see there. There we go. All right, there we go. All right, so we got that up, and I'm gonna check Facebook right quick. All right, there we go. So we got that up, and I'm gonna check Facebook right quick. All right, there we go. So we got that up, and I'm gonna check Facebook right quick. All right, there we go. So we got that up, and I'm gonna check Facebook right quick. Okay. And we are up and running. Well, we're just gonna get it going. So we're gonna recap from what episodes 1 through 4. And let me see if I can get Chris a little bit more in here. Okay, that's a little bit better. All right. So thank you guys for watching. One sec. All right. So episode 1 was on the gun controls, gun laws. We didn't have a stream to it where we streamed to YouTube and Facebook. So we just streamed to Facebook. So, but you guys are more than welcome to follow what we call BS on Facebook and YouTube, where you can go back and look at episodes 1 and 2, and you can review episodes 3 and 4 on YouTube as well as Facebook. So, I was waiting on Jermaine to get back in the camera, whatever you want. We did it at Junior House, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, what were we talking about on the gun laws?
The gun laws, the gun laws were when they did away with the class, and now that you're not required to take the class anymore, you can just go buy a gun. The whole thing was the training part of it. You know, me personally, I still feel like people, even the laws are not as tight now. They still should require people to take the class just in case, you know.
Okay.
And you can see now that, you know, I'm not sure that's part of what happened the last couple of weeks because the gun was changing, that you have these random shootings, you know, like the one you had in Jacksonville. The one had one out here in Yulee, another one in Fernandina.
Wait, there was one in Yulee?
Yeah.
When?
Yeah, you had an officer last week, and I'm not sure if they were saying he was drunk and he was shooting out here. And so,
An officer?
Officer. Yeah.
So who's gonna? All right. So who's gonna hold them accountable with the laws?
That's a good question. Like you said, they're trained.
To a degree. You can only have so much interpersonal human skills in their interaction, or how to interact with the people, because most of these cops, they don't know how to talk to people.
Yeah.
In my personal experience as well, working with them, working on law enforcement or in law enforcement, a part of law enforcement and corrections. So, I mean, you remember that remember that time where what was his name? I can't think of his name. But he lived down the street from us, and he kept following. He kept following Chris every day. He would follow Chris for like a week. And I finally went down to the house. I'm like, hey, that's my husband that you keep following. He's like, oh, that's your husband? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, I won't bother him no more. I'm like, what? Why are you bothering folks anyway?
Yeah.
Especially they ain't doing anything. You know, why would you bother somebody in the first place? But anyway, AY, remember the first episode on gun laws and how it's affecting? It's like OK Corral out here now.
Yes.
You know, it's. I know they had one shooting over in Jacksonville at the and what was it? What did it had a shooting at?
This year?
No, just like a couple. The one that at Dollar General. At the Dollar General. Yeah. They had the Dollar General shooting, and then you had another one at the Bahama Breeze.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was like, ooh, I ain't going over there no more.
This was like St. John Thompson?
Yeah. How many Bahama Breeze I have?
The only one I know is one of St. John.
Yeah, that's the only one that I know of, and that's the only one I think they were talking about for that one. But since we are talking about the gun laws and talking about how it really kind of will affect the majority of us in a sense, do y'all feel that the shooting that took place at the Dollar General in Jacksonville was racially motivated?
Yes, because he left a note saying that he actually went to Edgewater College first. Mm-hmm. They showed a video of him putting the armor gear on and stuff, and he was getting ready to shoot. But the thing was, it was nobody on campus that day. That's why he left Edgewater College and was going to the Dollar General store, because he figured that's where a lot of black people shot at. Mm-hmm. So when he went in there, I didn't realize the first person he shot was a lady sitting in the car. He shot her like 7 times sitting in the car. So he intentionally went in there and he actually found a letter that he left to his father saying that he was some niggas. Mm. So that was racial, mm-hmm. because you had other white customers in the store. Yeah. And he allowed them to leave. Oh wow. He just shot black people. So that was racial. And then now they're saying, are they gonna say that a hate crime? A hate crime. Yeah, definitely. But he's dead. Yeah, that's true too. So my thing would be like, just like all these other technology we have, I feel like I've seen in a movie where, if you want a gun at a human being, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what kind of technology that they could put toward a gun to make it safer for people to have, or bring down crime. I don't know. That'd be my thing. How can we solve the crime problem? We can't. But in other countries they do now. You still have crime, but it's not as rampant as us as America. But you still have crimes. So you're never going to stop crimes. You're never going to stop racism. So it's just you just have to be the best of you to be. Hey, what you think?
As far as it being racially motivated? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he wrote it in the manifesto. I mean, I don't think nobody forged that letter for him. So he was on a mission.
Right. So let me ask y'all this. I see you got your little thing Florida State hat on too. So, but congrats to y'all little win last night. Congrats to y'all little State win.
Little win.
We see your little stick hat. We see your little cat.
It was a little win.
Yeah, I did that little thing.
We did our little thing.
Yeah, I can't hate on y'all.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I did that little thing too. So I mean,
that could be another episode. That could be another episode. We talk about bullshit about Florida.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, they probably do
I like the look you just gave us. You looking in and trying to find us.
I'm classically trained in interviews. I love interviews.
Yeah, we see your little thing hat. It's all good. Have y'all heard of any of the funeral arrangements for any of the victims?
No, I haven't.
You talking about the Miami Hurricanes? Nah, we gonna make funeral arrangements later on at the end of the season for your funeral.
No, we not talking about the Florida Stankies. No. No, but have y'all heard of any funeral arrangements, or if somebody wants to send donations or flowers or anything like that? Have y'all heard of anything?
I haven't heard anything as far as funeral arrangements go for any of the victims involved in that shooting over there at the Dollar General or Dollar Store.
Something that catastrophic and something that devastating and detrimental. We don't have any other information or any follow-up other than they keep saying that it was racially motivated. But we don't.
We're gonna have to. Jack, somebody need to hit up News for Jax, Fox Action News, to get that. I don't have that.
I'm just curious because we share every damn thing else. So why we not? It just amazes me that when we see these things in the news, right? And it's close to home. So I'm really intrigued by it, So we see these things on social media all the time, but we never hear anything about the funerals, the services, or anything like that with these. I'm talking psyops, but we never hear any information, any additional information about the victims. And we're this close to Jacksonville, but we still haven't gotten any information for any type of funeral arrangements. And just because somebody wrote a manifesto saying that they don't like black people or they don't like this person or that person, well, is that racism or is that personal preference?
I think that's personal.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's personal. But even with the gun laws, we look at this as a racial thing. But I think to really hit home and get our point across, that we should start holding politicians accountable. For all these laws they pass, and we're not saying we look at each other as black and whites and we take it out on each other. But the real people that's in charge allow these things to go on, and we don't hold them accountable as politicians. They pass these laws knowing that these laws will not affect them because they're protected all the time. So until we get out and start saying that, like you're saying, a lot of times we voting the wrong people in office. We're voting the wrong people in office because they don't have the people in mind to protect us. Because they're already protected. They got Secret Service. They got armed.
No, are you talking about a macro level? Or are you talking about the presidential level? Or are you talking about local levels?
Local, governor of Florida, everything. He was able to show up here this incident, but before this incident happened, why can't you put things in place to protect people? I don't really think a lot of times when they're voting in office, they're not going into the thing as a whole to protect people. All they want to do is get reelected. That's all. They say what people want to hear.
But Chris, I got a question though, Chris. Do you think the community, when these types of tragedies happen, do you think the community gets together first to design or put in place infrastructure to pass on to officials on the governmental level?
Repeat that last part again.
Say again?
Repeat that last part again, because you broke up a little bit on my end.
The question was, does the community get together first to build out an infrastructure and then pass along to your city lawmakers and councilmen and councilwomen?
No, we don't. We just allow them. When we vote them in, we vote them in thinking that they gonna have our best interest. They really don't. A lot of times, before we vote these people in the office, we should have something planned saying, "This is how we want things done." We really don't do that.
Right.
We don't. If you're gonna get put in office, these kind of things be looking better. These are we're looking to better our community, and we don't do that. We don't people in trusting them. They don't want to do the right things. No, that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
I got
And that's bullshit.
bro. Bro, I got a prime example, right? Boom.
Jermaine, can
So
you back up a
on
little
my
bit?
page,
Can you back up a little bit? It's hard to see face.
say
Back
again.
up, can you back up a tad bit? It's hard to see you. Perfect. Yeah, that's good.
Lean back. Lean back. What I was gonna say was, I know as a person who lives in the community here, right, on the weekends, in between the hours of 11 and about 5:30, now that the road torn up, right, they still speeding up and down the road, speeding up and down the road. So me as a person who lives in the community, how can I make a change in the community on a governmental level with that type of activity going on, knowing it don't even have to be a shooting. It could just be as simple as speeding up and down the road, and it's kids in this neighborhood. So
yeah, you know, a lot of times when I ride, in other communities, they place signs saying, be mindful of kids. But matter of fact, when you were saying about up and down the road, I actually saw yesterday was a Nassau County sheriff officer. He drove through just like everybody else drove through.
see what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it's like nobody really cares. Cause I done had to call down there. I done called the NCSO before and was like, "Yo, y'all got a truck. He sliding through here. He ain't doing the 25 that these signs say. He's sliding."
Yeah.
And they was like, "Yo, we gonna send somebody out, blah, 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 blah. We gonna call them on the radio." And she had a long talk with me on the phone. So it's like, we have to just be proactive in the community, man. And just,
Yes.
we got our communication levels on. Even when there's bad stuff going on, we got to communicate and be like, "Yo, we ain't having that in this neighborhood. Hey, look, y'all ain't gonna just serve reefer around here or drugs around here all day long. It's going to be a cutoff point. Y'all got to stop it sometimes. Somebody got to stop."
Back.
I want to ask Wanda a question.
Well, before we do that, I just want to jump back quick and say something. But we don't even go to city council meetings. Well, let me back up. Most parents don't even go to damn teacher conference meetings, parent teacher conferences. So how can we expect them to do communal things when they don't even do things at home?
I think with the whole council type meetings and city, town, what they call them, like town meetings or whatever like that. Hey, I believe like they specifically designed the times around when nobody can make it.
I don't
I'd love to go to a city council meeting.
because they start at a decent enough time. I think about 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. So I don't know. I just kind of disagree with that because people make time for what they deem important to make time for.
Listen, I'm sure we have a city council member that's also on Facebook and is also in Nassau County Rants and Raves, who can say, "Yo, we having a city council meeting, put it up there." You know, that's like one thing that everybody speak out locally here, Nassau County Rant and Rave.
Yeah.
Okay, we put that city council meeting up there.
I don't necessarily. I mean, I see the page, but I don't necessarily follow it. I'm not really on there because people always say that it's a bunch of racists on there and stuff. Like, if y'all feel that way, whatever. I don't go on there, so I don't really know. I can ask people if they do put it in there. I'm not even sure if they do. You follow Nassau Rants and Raves?
I mean, their pages come out, so I'm able to see it. Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm not a real big. I don't get to see most of the stuff unless I actually go to the page. So I don't know. Yeah, but that's a good idea. So, I mean, we can also. I'm sure we can go to the Nassau County website. They have all the information up there. They have all the times up there for when they have the meeting. So we still have to do our due diligence as citizens at the same time.
Oh, for sure. I believe that for sure. We definitely have to do our due diligence.
Yeah. You add something?
Yeah, I was. So,
You know,
with all the training that you had went to academy.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that's awful.
Who?
So,
That was me playing something by mistake. I hit the wrong button.
so do you think when you went to the academy, was there enough training with the gun?
No, we only had about 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks of training with firearms. So you have day training, and then you have one night, literally one night of fire or night fire, how to shoot at night.
Mhm.
That it's not nearly enough training for when you actually put into situations. You actually get out there on the streets or in the
Mhm.
prisons or in jails or wherever have you. It's definitely not enough training, in my opinion. And then you have to requalify. Now it's a little bit more extensive for the for LEO, law enforcement officers, versus correctional officers, because we don't carry firearms as much as law enforcement do. Everything is inside the jail, so we don't carry inside. You're not allowed to bring any weapons inside unless it's a taser, which is pre-approved.
No, I'm not.
No, go ahead.
The lead up to that, the reason I asked you that is the two questions. Okay, so you're saying it's not enough training. So with that, are they still making, because they did it with the class? Are they? I'm not sure if you know or not. Are they still making police officers take the training
Or what class?
for the gun part? They're like the permit, like to carry a gun.
That's totally different for law enforcement. You get certified through the state, not through. That's a different avenue of getting certified through the state, because that's through employment versus you doing as a personal citizen.
Yeah. So with that, this is my question. You're saying that's not enough training. So when you got this regular public people,
Mhm.
and they only required to take a few hours of training. So if you're saying that going to school that was enough, taking a couple of hours of training for public people, it's most definitely not enough.
No, I definitely would say so. However, I would say this is that those people who take the legal route of getting firearms, they are investing their time in going to the fire ranges. They're investing their time into learning how to shoot, how to clean guns, and all the business of having a firearm, versus someone who's just out there on some dumb shit.
Okay.
Yeah, they may know how to shoot, but not accurately. You know, they may not know how to line up the front and rear sights. People just shoot and not realizing that you have sights on your guns. And you have to line up your front and rear sights in order to have an accurate shot. So most people are just out there shooting.
Okay.
You know, out there in the street, they just out there shooting. They don't have any. Well, I don't have the majority don't have any training.
So do you think before they get a gun, there should be more training involved? How to handle a situation, even if it's like say for instance, you get into a dispute with somebody, and it don't have to get to that level. You should have some kind of training saying, well, if it don't get to that level, why should I pull my gun out?
Now, you talking about from a law enforcement side perspective, or are you talking about from a citizen's perspective?
I'm saying citizen.
Okay, repeat your question.
My thing is that y'all are trained in a situation. If you don't have to get to that point, y'all learn how to de-escalate the situation. Do you think that same training should be for a citizen too? So before you get to that point, like, stand your ground. So, I mean, if I get into an argument with somebody, first thing they want to do is put a gun out and use that law as they're saying, well, it's not stand your ground. Do you think they should have some kind of training to be able to de-escalate?
Yeah, I mean, that de-escalation comes with just common sense, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, just common sense really is what we called verbal judo. So if you know how to use your words correctly, you can de-escalate or get out of any situation that comes your way.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, but to answer your question, I still think that people should take more initiative and more time, more classes. And you don't have to meet deadly somebody. That criteria doesn't fit.
Okay.
I just feel like there's a specific training that needs to take place before weapons training takes place with law enforcement. And I think it should be a psych eval.
But they do psych evals. They
Do they really do a psych eval?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So how long have they been doing that?
Huh?
How long have they been doing that?
Let me see. I started in corrections, what, 2003, 2004. So they were already doing it then. So you're talking about now almost 20 years ago.
Right. No, I'm just trying to. A lot of law enforcement officers stay on the force longer than that, so they still done took the class, but they
you have to have a yearly.
situational.
Yeah, but you also have yearly evaluations. You also have yearly training, not just with firearms, but you also have. And some agencies are going to be much different as well. I know when I worked in the prison versus me working at the jail at the local level, we had training all the time. Once a month, we was doing some kind of training, interpersonal skills, how to tend things, how to talk to each other. Just it was always something. But a lot of agencies are going to be different. The bigger the department is just become so convoluted, and it's hard to get everybody trained in the fashion that they should be trained in. I look at.
So
I grew up.
So you do feel like it's on a agency to agency basis. Like New York City will definitely have a different type of training than down here does.
Right. And
New York will put you in the full Nelson if you fuck around and do something out of pocket.
Yeah, they put you on the full Nelson, you put in the body bag.
Y'all will.
You're gonna definitely be in the body bag, sure.
Trying to do it. And down here, man,
we live directly across the street from one of the precincts from a precinct. I forget what number it is. You know, New York, they're numbered by precincts and by boroughs. So
right.
Across a precinct. They were still out there on the corner selling dope. People still out there in the corner getting killed in front of the police department. So
right.
when you in those big cities, it's hard. It's a hard life. You know, it's really a hard.
I'm sure it would be.
Huh?
I'm sure it would be.
It's crazy, you know. It's crazy, but
anyhow, so that was episode 2, right?
That was episode 1, and just to segue to episode 2, because I'm still dealing with laws, but on a different scale. Carly Lee Russell, how she I can't remember what actually happened with the case going afterwards. I can't remember whether I don't think they've gone to trial yet. Have they?
I
haven't heard anything else about it.
No. Hey, how do you feel about Larry Elder getting the donkey of the day?
No, that's episode 3. We gonna get right there.
How did I miss that? How did I miss that episode? Like, yo, that was one episode I did not miss.
No, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it for y'all. Hold on a second. Y'all want to talk?
No.
No.
We just snippet.
No, but you know, it's gonna be like a minute long, maybe, just to give some context to people can hear why he got donkey of the day and why I'm gonna call bullshit on him getting donkey of the day, because Charlamagne and the whole crew, they the one should have got donkey of the year. In all honesty, they should have got donkey of the
I think I just, before you say that or mention them in that way,
keep on talking.
You have to understand. You have to understand that Charlamagne and them, they're not really journalists. They're trying hard at journalism, and I think that they ask all the right questions. I think everybody asked all the right questions. I think that Larry Elder, he has some points, but I just feel like
you breaking up.
I feel like he's coming along across as another rock star presidential candidate, and I ain't with that, because nobody's really saying nothing about nothing. And in my opinion, he probably did deserve the donkey of the day. He probably deserved the mule of the day of 24 hours. He was a 24-hour mule. But what Raekwon do? Anyway, go ahead.
No, you keep on going because I'm looking, I'm pulling up the video, so you can just keep on talking for
I want y'all to meet my friend. So as of lately, just for entertainment purposes, Duval been on IG, right? He been doing his little Legos and this is that and the third. And I be checking him out. I'm like, you know what? Duval be making stuff that's been cool, even cooler to do. Like AJ, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Who did that?
We sit around and we mess with Legos too. You did, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I dig.
It's the dragon.
Look, hey, okay, so we got it pulled up, so I'm gonna play it. Okay,
Run it, selector.
run it. Hopefully it'll play. Let's see. Here we go. There you go. All right, here we go.
Probably gotta go. A nigga wake up call. No. It's the incident where they are blinded rudely by an unexpected act of racism. You ever had any of those? I'm just asking.
I'm acutely aware of the thing about that person. Instead, you are a black person, and when I insult you by saying, you really laugh, you don't know whether or not you want to vote for me, vote for Donald Trump. It seems to have been a wake call on your part. How dare this guy come here and insult you, a black man, and tell you to think a certain way? I'm amazed that you're mad about it.
I'm not gonna say. If you know what I mean, I don't think you said everything.
You can talk about the wake call, and today that should have been a wake call on your
Go. You stop. Larry Elder, I don't know where he went at. Well, what do you feel about what we just heard with Larry Elder? This is basically episode 2 was Carly Russell. The point of the story is she lied. Man didn't want to. She lied in the story. Ladies, just do better. All right. So episode 3 is the current black culture on BS. And this falls in line with what Jermaine was asking. So I played the video. So you said Larry Elder, you think Larry Elder deserved the donkey of the day?
I think he deserves to get the mule of the day. So that to answer your question, that would be negative. He deserves to get the mule of the day.
Why does he deserve the mule of the day?
Hey, I feel like, okay, first of all, freedom of speech, right? Man, look, you can say everything and everybody's going to have their own opinion. I had my own opinion of what he was talking about. Some were good, but most of it was bad. It was probably an 80-20 split. Like, yo, you sound like a real buffoon to me right now, because if you want to really, really be on something real, stop trying to be so dignified when you're trying to carry on for the plight of black people. And at the end of the day, you know, it sound like he wasn't speaking on the plight of the black people, period. Whoever his crew is, he's speaking on their plight.
But you're talking about Larry Elder, right?
Yes.
Okay, so even though Larry Elder came with statistics, he came with facts. No, hold on, let me finish. He came with what we see in reality. He came with what we're talking about every single day, even on these lives. He's talking about how things are affecting our community and how how the black culture has shifted from a strong nucleus family that was once pushing entrepreneurship to now we just looking like jackasses collectively. So
okay, so
we have to remove our feelings and our emotions out of what he's saying and look at it for what it truly is, because he's not lying. He came with
So let me,
data. You can't go with data, even though even though people getting their feelings personal about it. Well, take your feelings out of it. Not you personally, but people got to take it. We emotional.
so, but now, okay. What I was gonna say is now I want to pull up the Price is Right wheel, right? So did you catch the Robert Kennedy Jr. interview?
I caught some of it, but I can't. Honestly, I can't listen to him because he sounds like he about to keep crying.
No, it sounds like he has titanium in his throat. That's what happened.
But
But what he was, but his general, what I gathered from what he was saying, it goes. Wait, see, Larry Elder is shallow. He's super shallow.
he what?
I feel like he's super shallow in this conversation because, like you said, he got numbers and he got statistics and he got this and he got that, right? But he don't never direct the people to where this data is. He
It's
just
a lot.
this
It's
is
the
what he said.
same information he got. I pulled up. I have the same information. It's the same information that I had put in. I have put in on our videos. So either people are not reading or looking at it, or they just looking at it because they just want to, and we just want to over centralize and forget about what's in addressing the issues that we see that we have in our communities. So either we're gonna address the issues and confront them head on and be real about it, or we're not. So, but we feel Larry Elder is cooning or doing this and that, then you can say I'm cooning because I feel the same way that he feels. I don't go to Jacksonville because
I just think that people are going to look out for the majority, or maybe I shouldn't even say the majority, but a lot of the people, it's cool to vote. I think it's a cool whatever way to decide on what's going on. But if you don't really have no input on like lawmaking and stuff like that, and you're right, Chris, that's where it starts on the local level. Like,
but now we're talking about we're talking about two different things at the same time. I feel like we're talking about Larry Elder and him being called the of the day simply because he's giving information that can be looked up on the internet. All people have to do is use their fingers and use and put in all they have to do is put in 2023 Black unemployment statistics. You can do it. You can search by Florida, by county. You can search by state. The information is there if you want it. If not, it's you, because at the end of the day, it's still affecting communities how we are moving forward.
so how would what he said? How is it going to positively affect? Because see, he don't get into the whole black and white thing. He dance around that. He never says this, that, and the third on that. He just kind of like puts it all together. And I like that idea. But there are some real issues going on in the black community that he never ever, he don't even know, he don't say nothing about that. He always, he don't feel like it's systemic racism. I do.
I don't.
See, I do though.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is me. This is you feel that way. I feel that we don't. I don't live by a systematic racism life. I'm not saying that there isn't. When you're talking about systematic racism, I'm talking about racism in general. But I just feel like if there's systematic racism, which he actually did touch on quite a bit, that he talked about in that hour and a half, almost hour and 45 minutes session with them, he made references. You coming out of slavery, or even in slavery, for those families was in slavery or whatever have you, coming out of slavery, you had millionaires. You had not only Black Wall Street, but you had Wall Street, and you had the same type of communities in North Carolina, up and down the East Coast. Now we're talking about coming out of slavery. So how are our so-called ancestors coming out of slavery and they're surpassing economically the white race. People got to make that make sense when they're talking about we have systemic racism. Make that make sense, because isn't it the same government? Isn't it, matter of fact, wasn't it even more so involved in systematic racism back then? Wasn't it more so of racism back then? Separation, division back then? And even though it was below the poverty level, the poverty level, we stance. We wasn't at that level that where we at now. But he talked about all that.
Technology is the cape and cow right now.
He did. He addressed those things very much.
Technology is the cape and cow right now.
Say again?
Technology is the cape and cow.
Okay. Can I ask a question, since it's like you said, systemic racism?
That's a hard word to say.
Yes. Systemic racism. How do we have a situation by the music? I'm gonna go to the music where we hate for somebody to call us the N-word, but we allow our own people so they put in the music. Then help the situation. You want to stop racism, but you got a few of us putting in the music, calling females bitches, hoes, and all that stuff. Then we want to blame somebody else for it. But a lot of the rappers, not a lot, a few of push that in. Then as soon as another race calls the N-word, we want to get upset. But it's all right for our own race to put nigga in the word. I mean, put nigga in the rap. You know what I'm saying?
Who owns that word?
Exactly. I'm saying,
But if somebody want to say it, they'll say it. So who say it?
You know what, bro? I think Wanda would be the perfect candidate to answer this question.
Okay. What's your question?
My question is that, okay, we want to say it's racism, but as soon as we use the word, we don't look at it as being racism. But it's tearing our own race down by allowing them to use that N-word, then somebody else did too.
I may not be the person to answer because I agree with you. If the rapper use it in the movie industry, and that is not an ownership that anybody can have. That word, nobody owns words. So how are we gonna be mad? And to further my point, if you and I got into arguments, you and Jimmy get into an argument, right? We all the same color. We come from the same background. We understand our culture. We understand each other. I call you a nigga, and we argue. We fight. Nigga, get up. I use all of that. You're not gonna focus on me saying nigga at all. You're gonna be focused on all the other words that I say. If I call you a bitch, a pussy, you're gonna be focused on all of those words because it don't mean nothing for another brown person or another brown person nigga. Whether you're laughing, joking, it doesn't matter. You're not getting upset about that. But now let's insert the white person or anybody.
Eminem using the word.
Even if let's just anybody that you know on a day-to-day basis. Joe Blow. You and Joe Blow get into an argument. Maybe somebody that you know for a little bit. Y'all get into an argument. He call you a nigga. You call him a cracker or whatever. You're not going to be focused on anything else that came out that man's mouth other than him calling you a nigga. So what makes it so different? And mind you, this could be somebody that you know they don't have any racial bones or any racial tendencies in their body, but yet would you get upset because he called you a nigga? Because that's all you're gonna hear first.
It's never been directed. It's never been directed at me.
Huh?
It's never been directed at me.
We're talking about hypotheticals here.
I can't even put myself in that space to think hypothetical because nobody's never said it to me.
That's what I mean by hypothetical.
Yeah, that's what you say hypothetical. If you were put into the situation, people know how they would handle certain things. So if you was put in this situation, if a white person called you a nigga, whether you know him or not,
I'm gonna address
hear out of his mouth is nigga. You ain't gonna hear nothing else. You ain't want to care about nothing else this man said out of his mouth. That light is like really binding.
Because I'm gonna want to know why he didn't call me AJ.
Jermaine, can you just follow the question here? Like,
yeah,
seriously, like follow the question. He don't know your name. He don't know your name,
right.
Is AJ. He just said, man,
I said I'm gonna address it with him or her.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I got you. So you're not even gonna pay that no attention.
I'm gonna address it.
I get that. You're addressing it, but
If I'm paying attention, then I'll address it, is what I'm saying.
what I'm saying
If
is
I ain't paying attention,
you're
then
not
I
gonna get
won't.
upset. What I mean by paying attention, you're not gonna get upset. Would you get upset if you're correcting this person, saying, no, my name is AJ?
My emotions don't get in front of addressing anything. I'm gonna address it. That's what I'm saying.
And I understand what you're saying. You're not gonna get, so you're not gonna get upset because some other
Upset an emotion.
Hmm?
Is being upset an emotion or a feeling?
both.
Neither one of those going to be involved. I'm going to address it off me, not
Okay.
off of nothing else.
Okay, but see, most, and then Chris,
So if that's the case, so why don't we address these issues when we call each other names?
I've never been called that.
I'm saying, even slip of the tongue. What's up, my nigga? Or how you doing? You know what I'm saying?
that's true.
I've never been addressed with that.
Because we have used that word unconsciously now.
We use it every damn day.
So I mean, you can't say you never used the word before.
I didn't say I didn't never. I just said I've never been addressed with
But
that.
that's what I'm saying. How can you use the word when you say it to somebody else and they don't and they don't address you and you have no problem using that word?
Believe me, I'm using on my due diligence right now to curb that word, because
Okay.
what it does,
Okay.
it's like a fire. If I say it, if I consider myself whatever, blah blah blah, I consider myself, which I'm not that, then I'm curbing myself off of that word. Period.
Right.
Period.
So that
Now I get what you're saying. Where I get where you both are going. Where the word shouldn't really even matter. It shouldn't even matter at this point.
it shouldn't, but it happens. That's what I'm saying. If you're trying to curb the word, shouldn't we hold Snoop Dogg, all them other rappers that use that word, like say, for instance, he don't mind using the word bitch. Just because he's using that word, he got a new artist out there called Orlando London. As soon as he come in the music, that's the first thing he want to say. I turn from that song because you don't have to mix good music with what he's trying to do. When you make good music, you don't have to use that word.
Oh no, I'm listening.
No,
I'm listening.
you don't. Some artists do though.
But that's what sells. So selling that's what sells. Niggas, bitches, and hoes, and sex, and drugs, and money is what sells in the hip hop industry now. It's completely gotten
Now, yeah,
artistry.
yeah.
And true.
And it's because of the way they're using it. Because PE did the same thing.
Right.
On the hand of a trigger puller, you know what I'm talking about? But he was telling you something else along with it.
Right. It was
So right. But I'm just saying, as far as the N word goes, because that is every third word, that don't make sense to me at all.
Okay.
That part don't make no sense to me, because if you really want to stay on task, why is every fourth word that? Why was every eighth word bitch? Like it's sequential now. So they do the 16, they put like 10 niggas in there.
Yeah. You're right.
They do it by design now.
Yeah, exactly. So like I was saying, those things is ways to shut it down. We don't have to listen to it. We don't have to go to the concerts. We don't have to subscribe to their YouTube channels. If they, we don't have to support them. But again, that's what sells. And so now we live in a society, especially we're talking about Black culture. Black culture is now considered basically music, clothes, food, dancing, entertainment.
Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
That man almost he masked up. I don't care what nobody say. Anywho, that's all. We gonna get there too. But anywho,
You name the 5 Deadly Venoms. Tyler Perry is one of them.
Yeah. And that is 5 Deadly Venoms. You're right. No, that's one of the Venom. 5 Deadly Venom. He just named them all. You just named them all. All things that's destroying our community.
Oh, okay, I got you. That's right there. I'm like, what?
That's how I talk, sis.
No, because
That's how I talk, sis.
y'all was raised in the same house, so y'all understand this.
I understand what you're saying.
That's your brother, of course. I'm like, what?
Yeah. All of them, like, all of them had different styles, but they were deadly.
Right. Got you.
But-
Right.
I'm at the house now. I'm in the house with y'all now. I'm in the house.
Bring up a
You
good
show
point.
you in the house.
I'm in the house. I got you.
To bring up a good point, she actually brought up a song, I think a episode back, it was called Pound Town.
Oh my God.
And my thing is, that's like she said, that's what's selling, but that's exactly what's destroying our community, allowing certain words to come in, then we think it's cool to use each other. Don't call me that N-word. I'll tell you my name.
But you know what, bro? The alarming age.
Time out,
group-
pause. Let me ask you. Okay, he said that light, Jermaine. I can't. It's hard to. Yeah, but
Wait, my background, relax.
huh? No,
No.
it's just the light is shining directly in the camera, so it's kind of blinding to us on the opposite, on the receiving end of it. That's all. You said, bro. Now I know this is your blood brother. I get that. That's your blood brother. But we use the word bro, bruh, sis to people that's not blood related to us, and it's a term of endearment. It's a term of loving and things of that nature. So when someone says nigga in the same context, we don't have a problem with that. But when you use it in a context where it's coming off angry, and especially if it's a white person, we automatically deduce that, oh, this person racist. And then if we look at the word nigga, what does it mean? Someone who acts stupid. So if you acting stupid, then you're a nigga. No matter what color, no matter what race, no matter what gender.
That's true.
I just want to plug that in there right there. If we can use it,
Right.
we can use those. If we can use certain words affectionately, like bro and sis and things of that nature, then now I'm just arguing from a standpoint where younger people would say, well, it's the same thing, which is why they don't have a problem with their white friends using nigga, because they looking at it from an affectionate term, not from a racial standpoint. Things that make you go.
But you know, to bring that up, I actually had a person in the barbershop try to say that word. They use it, and I'm not sure. I got to look it up. But they're saying the N word actually meant God.
Yeah, Naga. It's really pronounced Naga.
Oh, okay.
It's pronounced Naga. N-A-G-A. Naga. N-A-G-A. Naga.
So the word they use, and the word he was telling me, he was totally wrong, because the N word that we use now don't mean God.
No, it
Okay.
don't. Naga means God, not
So he tried to make it seem more acceptable if somebody call you that. No.
because he's saying Naga, and then he's coming over here and hearing nigger,
Yeah.
and associating the two together. When I think maybe I don't know the whole conversation, but maybe he was just trying to see, well, nigger and Naga, they may have some similarities in pronunciation, but they're totally different words. So I don't know if he was coming from that point or not.
Yeah, he was using the N-I-G-G-E-R word.
Oh,
and I was like, that don't even sound right.
well, he hear y'all say it.
No, music say it, music say it.
He hear y'all
Do we have any questions or comments in the comment column by any chance?
I was looking and I did not see anything yet. No, we do not have any comments.
All right.
But you know,
Y'all feel free to comment.
this is if with topics that's not so comfortable to Black people at the same time, because when you put the mirror in front of your face and you're trying to get people to understand, one, there's not racism as we think we see it is not as we actually see it. I think we over fantasize when things happen in the media, and we automatically deduce to a racial lens. Just to go back to Carly Lee Russell. Well, what she did had nothing to do with race, but some freaking how race was brought into it. I'm like, how is this even possible? When race had nothing to do with it, but we will make a race mountain out of a molehill. We'll make a race molehill out of a mountain. Well, Howard saying,
Yeah.
Howard saying, go. We make a big deal when we'll present something that's not there for whatever reasons. We're just so conditioned to see black and white when everything is not black and white. Every situation is not black and white. Every situation is not racial. Every situation doesn't call for us to get on the internet and say, oh, well, look what the white people did. Look what the white people was doing, blah, blah, blah. But no. I don't really care what they did back then. I don't really care what people are doing now. Because it's not affecting me. To go back to what we were talking about, systemic racism, I don't see the compounds of systemic racism as people keep pointing out. And one thing I do know is the more you pay attention to something, the more it stays in your life, the more it stays in your real time. So if I pay attention to racism, not saying that it's not there, not saying that there may be some levels of systemic racism, even though I really don't think there is, however, but some people that do, even if there is, we're always paying attention to those things. Instead of just doing what we're supposed to be doing, we're so focused on race all the damn time. And we cannot get ahead when we're constantly talking about race. I think he dipped on us again.
Now, why would I do that?
Huh?
Why would I just dip on you like that?
I don't know.
Thing of it. Nah, I'm sorry, I gotta get myself positioned. When you say we, who are you exactly referencing in the we focus on racism, this is that and the third?
If it's my end breaking up or yours?
I'm trying my best. I backed up from the camera and all.
Oh, no, it's on my end. No, it's me. It's me. I just got a notification saying that I'm having some connection issues, so it's me, not you. Now, what was your question again?
When you're speaking of we and we focus on racism so much, who is we?
We collectively, as a melanated race, we collectively. That's what I'm saying. You, me, my sister. I'm talking about. I'm talking about that in a collective sense. When I say we, I'm not excluding myself. I'm not saying y'all. I want to be inclusive, even though I don't look at it that way. For context purposes, I'm just saying we as an inclusive point.
Well, one way I think that we could get away from that is we need to build an infrastructure that's going to be, pro us, pro people of color. You know what I'm talking about? And we're gonna have to stand on it. There's a lot of things that we put in place that we don't stand on, but if we really stand on something, and it only takes a small group like us. You know what I'm talking about? And if you feel like the use of the N-word or whatever, and whatever setting you in is inappropriate, man, address it. Us even formulating or thinking about anything that's going to eventually flip the mirror around on us and have us hot in the media and we this, that, the third. No, we got to build our own infrastructure. If we build our own infrastructure, then we got it. See, right now we've integrated ourselves into an infrastructure that we ain't have no input on.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So we have to live by that infrastructure, knowing that ain't us. That ain't,
It's not us.
So
that's not us.
So building this infrastructure, which and I'm saying we again collectively, whole sense. We've been talking about building some type of structure for how long now? You know. So it's like
I haven't heard anything.
It's like we can't get together to do anything positive on a collective scale. on a macro collective scales, we say, okay, so let's just take something small, like you said, the N word. That's not something that I hear on a day-to-day basis from people in the first place. Don't you know where I hear that? I hear it in the music. You know where I hear that? I hear it in the movies. I hear it in the TV shows. I hear it there. So if we're gonna start an infrastructure, then we need to start there, because we're not really hearing it on a personal, on a day-to-day level from the regular, everybody else, from our regular people that we interact with. We're not hearing that, and if we do hear it, we're hearing it from an acceptable position. So that you saying, hearing or saying the N-word, that's not an issue for me. I don't really care about that, because those are just words. That's not
the type of infrastructure I'm talking about.
No, but what I'm saying is, if I'm using that as an example, if we don't want to hear that word to be placed to people to say anymore, then we have to start at the levels to where it's coming from on a mass level, which is in the music, which is in the TV shows, which is in the movies. We have to start there, because I'm not hearing it from people that I interact with on a day-to-day basis. That's not where I'm hearing it from.
Well, I don't think that a documentary is like the ideal way to put out how to design an infrastructure for a particular culture. Once again, it has to start small. It's not going to be all at once. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are infrastructures set up in Africa that these folks, they follow them day in and day out. If you gonna get water today, you running that water from
Kind of froze. Well, he's frozen. So
I'm gonna give you a prime example. You say, if we gonna stand on something. I remember when my dad, I took over the barbershop. There was certain things he had in place. They said if you change things, the foundation that he did, it'll bring the shop down. One thing, no cursing in the barbershop, and no just hanging around outside or drinking and stuff like that. And a lot of times people allow things to go on to accept money.
Right.
And what it does, it actually tears down the business, because you have honest people that don't want to hear that. They're not gonna come no more. If I allow people to come to the barbershop, curse, smoke, and drink, the mothers that are single, fathers that send their kids to the barbershop, not gonna want to send their kids. They feel it's not a safe place. And that's the same way in Jacksonville. You look at in Jacksonville, a lot of places have been closed because of the dangerous things that they allow to go on. Like I say, if we're gonna stand on something, we got to stand on. I don't need your money. If you feel like you can come in here, like my dad had a customer one day, and the customer was cursing, and my dad said, the guy said, my dad said, you can't curse inside the barbershop. And the person was of the same age my dad was, and he was like, I'm grown. My dad, he didn't say white to him. He opened the back door, said, it's a barbershop down the road. They might cut your hair, but you can't curse in this barbershop. The guy got up, left, went out. My dad stood on that ground. He wasn't going to accept his money. Take your money somewhere else. Take your money somewhere else if you want to do something. It was the following week that guy came back and apologized. My dad stood on the ground. It wasn't going to change words with him. This is the law of the barbershop.
Right.
Yeah, I don't need your money. Take it to another barbershop. The guy came right back. And the thing is, if we're going to do those things, like you said, we got to stand on it. We got to stand on it. I mean, if that's the way they want to rap, you keep on rapping that way, but you ain't going to get my money. You know,
exactly.
If you want to talk about all the negative things, keep on doing your thing, but you will not get my money. And that's how the community got to start looking at things. You know what I'm saying? But see, a lot of times they got so big in the world, it's like, I don't care about getting money from our community. I get it bills. I can do what I want to, but you join everything around it.
Yeah. And I agree wholeheartedly. And for the I'll put Jermaine in here somewhere. And that's another thing, Jermaine, I just want to ask you, I'm trying to get you back in here. Hold on a sec. I see him. I don't know which one he is. He's in here twice. Hello? Jermaine? I think he's frozen.
Is that you gonna refresh this thing?
If I refresh it, then he has to go out and back in. Okay, so yeah, I totally agree with that. I also want to say that that's another thing that we have a tendency to do. We disrespect and dishonor other businesses. I'm going to put for the stream. I'm just going to say Black people, even though I hate using that term. I'm just for melanated people. We don't respect their rules and regulations when it comes to their business. We think we can treat them any kind of way. We think we can talk to them any kind of way. We think we can not pay the full price of services because we're the same color. And I have no idea why people would want to dishonor someone who looks just like you and trying to make it the same way you are. So if we're going to start with we're going to build an infrastructure, we have to work on these little small things, because those small things is what actually was keeping us down, keeping us from growing. And we can, the big things, we'll tackle those, but sometimes it's some small nuances that keep people from gelling together and growing. So once we can get over those things and start addressing those issues, those small issues, tackling these big problems is still going to lead back to those small problems. I feel, we can start an organization, we can start a group all day long, but it comes back to also, well, who got the money? Who's going to do this? Well, common sense would tell me if I'm involved in a group, then it's going to be legitimized. It's going to be in an LLC or anything, something like that, where nobody's had the money. It's in a business name, But it just baffles me that we don't try to come together to do anything, and it just seems like we only want to come together to party. I don't know how for years, decades, Chris and I have been asking people, let's try to get together and we buy some land. Let's invest in something. People don't want to do it. I don't know. I have no idea. It's just kind of, so at this point, I just try to deal with people who actually want to move forward and want to have more economic growth, not just for ourselves, but for our future generations. I think the last subject was artificial intelligence. Yeah, that's actually, we actually probably just gonna wait on that to recap on that, because that actually goes into the episode that we were supposed to do tonight, which we will be doing next Monday instead. So tune in. We should have Grace back with us on that night next Monday. So we kind of maybe give a recap on the artificial intelligence and how artificial intelligence is in our and how it does alter our DNA. So
Can you hear me?
yes, you actually about to close out.
Okay.
Yeah. So we hope that we brought some information to you guys, some knowledge to you guys, some insight to you guys and gals, put it that way. So make sure you follow us on We Call BS on YouTube as well as Facebook. You can go back and watch any one of the lives. All of them, especially all on Facebook. A few we couldn't upload to YouTube, but you can always go back to Facebook and watch any of the lives. So I'm going to close out. I'm done. I hand the floor over to Chris or Jermaine.
I'm done. Everybody have a good night.
Jermaine, you want to take us on out? Play us a little sample beauty. What you got?
I don't do that.
Okay.
You don't do music?
I'll play other people's music though.
No, we'll get a strike on our channel. We cannot do that. It has to be original content. That's why I asked you to play yours, but it's okay.
All right.
All right. Well,
Back to life. Back to
No, we good.
life. Okay. All right.
we're okay.
Peace.
I didn't know that you do music.
Da, 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 da.
Come on now.
Tonight's show was brought to you by
Recap of We Call Me SM. Tonight,
Hey, we need sponsors. You know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to get the sponsors. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
bullshit. I know what they call it. Other than bullshit blows my mind. Blows my mind. Yeah. Bullshit. I know what they call it.